Jai Hind students, we are going to study the second unit of statistics, that's collection, organization and presentation of data. The topics that we are going to deal here is collection of data, sources of data, that are primary and secondary data, how basic details collected with concept of sampling, methods of collecting data, some important sources of secondary data, that is census of India and National Sample Survey Organization. At first, we will be studying what is data. Data is a tool which helps in understanding problems by providing information. Data is tool which helps in reaching a second conclusion on any problem. So data is a tool that is helping in understanding problems by providing informations. So next is sources of data. What are the sources of data? Primary and secondary sources. So primary data. The researcher may collect the data by conducting an inquiry. Such data are called primary data as they are based on first-hand information. The researcher directly goes and collects the data in the primary data collection. So that's it is first-hand data or it's a raw data that is just collected and kept. So that's a primary data. Secondary data, if the data have been collected and processed, that is processing is scrutinized and tabulated by some other agency, they are called the secondary data. So that is they are already collected data. So primary data is directly we are going and collecting data. So we have a proof or it is true. We know that which and all area we went. So we understand from that. So this is a secondary data which is already published by an agency. Sometimes it may be false, sometimes it may be true, as we are not directly going and collecting data in the secondary data collection. The difference between primary and secondary data, it's so primary data it's original, secondary data is second hand data, and primary data as we are directly going and collecting data, it is more expensive and more time consuming. Secondary data is less expensive and less time consuming. Next, primary data, more care is needed at a time of data collection. More care is needed at a time of use of its data. So as it's already collected and kept, so it more what the use, whether it is used for the same purpose, it is to be checked in the secondary data collection. And next it is data usage. So next is it is a raw item or we are collecting and keeping it is fresh. So it's a raw item. Next secondary data, it is a finished material or it has been analyzed or scrutinized by some other person. So it's a finished material. So you understood the primary and secondary data, I think. So next, what are the data methods of data collection? How we are collecting data? So sometimes it may be personal interview. Under this method, data are collected by the investigator personally by asking questions. Hope you understood. Next is the indirect oral investigation. So under this method, the investigator contacts the third parties who are capable of supplying the necessary information. So sometimes the investigator goes to the particular house for data collection. Sometimes the person will not be there in the house, so he will be going to the third person or the neighbor for the collection of data. That is, who and all are living in the house, etc., have been collected from the third party. So that is known as indirect oral investigation. So next, the third one is information from correspondence. So investigator appoints a local agents or correspondents in different places to obtain information. So he not goes directly, he will be appointed some agency for the collection of data. So that is the third point. So next form of data collection is telephonic interview. In this method, the interviewer makes use of telephone to contact the informants for data collection. So next is mailed questionnaire. Under this method, a list of questions pertaining to the inquiry is prepared and sent to the various informants by post. A request letter made to them through a covering letter to fill up the questionnaire, send it back within a specified time will be written in that. So that is known as mailed questionnaire. So these are the methods of data collection. That is mainly these methods are used for primary data collection. Okay. See methods of data collection used in primary data. So which and all are there? Personal interview, indirect oral investigation, information from correspondence, and next is telephonic interview, mailed questionnaire. So another two methods are the difference between, we can just see census and sampling methods of collecting data. So in the syllabus last year you were having to study the census method, and now this census method is not there. So reduction, as you know that the reduction in syllabus and all, so only sampling method is there. So just know what is census and sampling difference. So census, the census covers every individual unit belonging to the population. So census method, each and every unit of the population have been detected here. So in the sampling method, the sample is of smaller groups selected from the population, from which the relevant information would be sought. So sampling means a small portion or area have been selected for data collection. So in the census method, is extensive inquiry is conducted as each and every unit of the population is studied. So it is having extensive inquiry. So here only limited inquiry is conducted as only few units of the population are studied. So next is, regarding accuracy, since all items are studied under census method, its high degree of accuracy is possible. So here, since only representative units are studied under the sample method, so it is less accurate. However, errors can be easily detected and removed. So it's only small portion of the area to be conducted study. So we can just find the errors easily. But we can't think of the accuracy, it may be correct or not. So it may be less accurate. So as the degree of accuracy to be measured, if more number of items or the people are responding, then only the data may be correct or not, that we can be easily detected. So next is economy. As all items are studied under census method, this method is very expensive and involves a lot of money and efforts. So as you know, each and every person have been studied. So as only few samples are studied under the sample method, this method is comparatively less expensive. So next here, the census method is very time consuming, and as all items are studied here, so it's very much time consuming. Sample method is less time consuming, as a small area has been studied. So here the census method is suitable when items in the universe have a diverse characteristics. So this method is suitable when the area under investigation is relatively small. So when the area census method is the universe or the characteristics is to be found. So when the area is small, it is reliable to be collecting data, or easy to be collecting data. But the sample method is suitable when it's when items in the universe are homogeneous, and this method is suitable when area under the investigation is large. So the factors that we have to study, so that must be homogeneous, then only, or same factors that we have to be known or studied. So that so for example, if we are taking the corona affected people, so if the sample of corona affected people alone has been taken and studied, so that is what homogeneous or universe in nature. So that is it's suitable for that sample to be studied. So in the census, we are studying the universe as a whole and diverse characteristics, or whole different types of what qualities and all are taken and studied. So it's this method is suitable when the area under the investigation is relatively small. So next is sample. So this is to be studied as per your syllabus. A sample refers to a smaller group of section selected from the population from which the relevant information is to be obtained. So a good sample is generally smaller than the population and is capable of providing reasonably accurate information about the population at a much lower cost and shorter time. For example, suppose you want to study the average of income of people in a certain region. According to the sample method, you select a representative sample of a few individuals from the region and find out their income. And the average of the selected group of individuals is used as a estimate of average income of the individuals of the entire region. Hope you understood the finding of sampling. So how it is found. So you will be collecting the whole area which the income is to be studied, and the data are for example 10 people income are taken, and you will be studying how much income they are getting, average you will be finding, and you will be concluding the answer. Next is the advantages of sampling. What are the advantages of sampling? Economical. So it save time, money and labor, you know that, and reliable and accurate. So as if a sample can be taken out properly with due care and caution, it can provide reasonably reliable and accurate information at a lower cost. So sometimes some things have to be noted and we can collect easily the required data. So next is more scientific. So this method is more scientific because its conclusion can be retested. So we can retest the conclusion, as the samples means we are taking only small area, so it can be retested or reassessed. We can just go to the house for 2-3 more times and collect the data if we think that it is false. But when census method is concerned, if we can't detect or we can't go as it's a large area we are collecting data. So next is more appropriate for wide area. So the method is more appropriate for such surveys whose scope or some area is very wide. So if area is very wide, we suggest sampling method is more easier. So we can just collect it. For example, I had told you about the disease corona. So if we are not going to the whole Kerala for collecting the data regarding the symptoms or something, so we make we no need of going to whole that is corona patients. We can just select some of them and we can inquire about the details, how it comes, and almost all the what symptoms and all will be same. So we can conclude by only taking 10 or 5 peoples or 20 peoples for the data collection. So in wide, if the area is wide, more as per the topic we can conclude, or we can suggest this sample method is more appropriate. So more appropriate for wide area. So quick result can be obtained very quickly with the help of this method. So limitations of sampling method: lack of accuracy. So we can say that it may not be correct. Under this, survey data are not very accurate. Sometimes the data may be not accurate, as some people may be telling the false data, or by 2-3 people we can't suggest. Or for example, the poor, which section of the society is poorer. So by taking the 10 people's income, we can't suggest. which section is poor. So it has to be taken. So it has to be taken in such a way that the whole the particular area, the number of people that we are studying must be more. So then only the accurate data can be conclusion can be found. So if the number of people is more accuracy is there. So if one or two people's data collection will not lead to the correct answer. So next second point is wrong conclusion. So if a sample is not representative, then all the conclusion become wrong. So if the representing so I had told you the corona affected people, the people that the particular representative people will not, we are not taking into account the particular representative people, that sample collection may be false. So next is selection of improper sample. So for the proper selection of samples, special knowledge and understanding is to be required. So the people who are going to take the particular area as a sample for their studies, they should have a special knowledge and understanding about the area, and which portion is to be taken into consideration, and they have to be known. The next is not appropriate where census survey is desirable. So this method is of no use for such surveys where the information about the whole universe is required, such as population census. So this method is new use. So where the actually this population census, if it is required to collect each and every unit or each and every people of the society, we have to collect data. Instead of that, we are using the sample method, so it will be inappropriate. So next is that is known as what inappropriate where census survey is desirable. Next is small size of universe. So it is difficult to frame a sample where the size of universe is very small. So very small universe we can't very small area we can't take the sample in the correct way. So next is diverse item. It is difficult to conduct a sample survey where items of universe are very diverse. Very diverse means different types of people where they are living. So they are having different types of qualities, and also it is difficult to analyze the data from this diverse area of population. Next is some important sources of secondary data. So there are two important sources of secondary data. They are Census of India and NSSO. So the Census of India and the National Sample Survey Organization are two important agencies at the national level which collect data, process and tabulate data on many important economic and social issues. The Census of India. The Census of India provides the most complete and continuous demographic record of population. The census is being regularly conducted every 10 years since 1881. The first census after independence was conducted in 1951. The census officials collect information on various aspects of population such as size, density, sex ratio, literacy, migration, rural, urban distribution, etc. Census data is interpreted and analyzed to understand many economic and social issues in India. So next topic is National Sample Survey Organization. National Sample Survey Organization was established by Government of India to conduct nationwide surveys on socio-economic issues. The NSSO does continuous survey in successive rounds. So the data collected by NSSO are released through reports, and it's a quarterly journal known as Sarvekshana. So next is NSSO. Second point is NSSO provides periodic estimates of literacy. So school enrollment and utilization of educational service, employment, unemployment, manufacturing and service sector enterprises, morbidity, Morbidity means diseases, and maternity. Maternity means the mothers who are pregnant, and also next is the child care and utilization of the public distribution system, etc. For instance, the NSSO is 68th round survey is between 2011 to 2012 and was on consumer expenditure. So that was the topic on 68th round survey. So the NSSO also collects the details of industrial activities and retail prices for various goods. They are used by Government of India for planning and purposes. So these two are the important secondary data collected organization of a central government. Next, methods of sampling. Random sampling. Random sampling is one where the individual units from samples are selected at random. In random sampling, every individual has equal chance of being selected. Example, the government wants to determine the impact of rise in petrol price on household budget of a particular locality having 300 households. For this, a response is needed. So representative sample of 10 households has to be taken and studied. The names of all 300 households are that of that area are written on a paper and mixed it, and then 10 names of the interviewed are selected one by one. In random sampling, every individual has equal chance of being selected. Thus, all the 300 sample units of the population got an equal chance of being included in the sample of 10 units, and hence the sample such drawn is a random sample. This is also known as lottery method. Nowadays, computer programs are used to select random samples. Second one is non-random sampling. In a non-random sampling method, all the units of the population do not have an equal chance of being selected. Then the convenience or judgment of the investigator plays an important role in the selection of sample. They are mainly selected on the basis of judgment, purpose, convenience, or quota, and are non-random samples. For example, suppose you have to select 10 out of 100 households in a locality. You have to decide which household to select and which to reject. You may select the household conveniently situated or the households known to you or your friend. In this case of you are using judgment in selecting the 10 households. This way of selecting 10 out of 100 households is called a non-random sampling. Thank you, students. If you have any doubt, please ask me. You are free to be asked.